All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Hopefully, you're all surviving this interesting downshift in weather and all that stuff. It doesn't feel like May 21st or May 20th yesterday or whatever it was, but we'll get there. All this rain hopefully will perk everything right back up and be ready to go. Continuing through this month of as many mental health awareness ideas, advice, covering a variety of topics. This week is just kind of reviewing these. What are some health, like things to trend toward, healthy behaviors, trying to avoid things that can consume, writing on Monday and talking about big things that really can swallow people a little bit. Anxiety that grows and consumes, depression that can grow and consume, also like behaviors, whether it's substances or other types of things that people get into just to be able to cope or go forward with it, and it consumes them and takes them away from the healthy things they want to do. So some highlights of the list of 10 things that were written about on Monday, my favorites. First, this idea of visiting a professional in kind of whatever field at least once a year. People see the value of that when you think about financial planning and everything else, but I think they downshift it when it comes to physical health sometimes, mental health, emotional health, relational health. There's a lot of people that make their living to be able to help people be successful and be healthy. So it's this encouragement to say don't avoid those professionals. Second, this is this reminder about the word transparency, right? If things want to get better, someone has to be transparent about what's going on. Without that, bringing down that wall and being transparent and sharing, there isn't an opportunity to change or pursue healthy behaviors or overcome the negative ones that are taking people down. And then finally, just this reminder of having the proper expectations for us, ourselves, and for others leads to a lot of healthier patterns and going forward. When we have unreasonable expectations for what we should do or how other people should act around us, usually leads to tension, conflict, and that can take people down the wrong path. Related to figuring out how things are going, I posted two different in that email, two homework assignments of like, hey, there's something called the PHQ-9, which is a depression inventory. That's one of the links in the email that went out, and another one called the GAD-7, which is an anxiety assessment. And so it's this idea for people just to get a snapshot, a baseline of how they're doing, or to be able to have access to that link to send to somebody else if you're concerned about them or they're concerned or wondering. Higher scores on both of those usually indicate the need to go talk to somebody, whether it's a family, friend, mentor, or even the professional level. Those are pretty broad assessments, pretty low-level ones. So when something is flagged there, it's kind of like when you go to the doctor's office, they'll be able to offer some of those like passing assessments just to make sure nothing is missed. So here's an opportunity to take those to ensure nothing is missed. So that's kind of the recap of Monday as we go through this. How do we pursue healthy behaviors? Thinking about that, we'll have a few more comments to make. As far as some facts to talk about this week, I was trying to think of something this past week, but I kept being drawn back to Memorial Day and barbecue and food and all that stuff. I don't know, maybe it's me and yummy food. So here's some facts about Monday coming for Memorial Day, because we're all eager to like kick off summer finally. It's the unofficial kickoff of summer on this coming Monday. Some basic facts. First observed after the Civil War. What was that? 18 what? 50s, 1860s. But then became a national holiday not till 1971. So kind of unofficially, but a chance to observe those who've died in military service. So certainly a nice pattern to have on Memorial Day morning, going around and doing that. But thinking about barbecue, since that's what Memorial Day means to a lot of people practically, Hamburg, Germany is the birthplace of burgers, to all those people in Seymour that think they invented the hamburger, right? So that kind of idea. If you've ever driven through that little town, right, you know, the birthplace of the hamburger, negative. That'd be Hamburg, Germany. This one, for all you healthy eaters, 7 billion hot dogs are consumed between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Talk about grilling season, right? That breaks down to about 818 per second in the summertime. Let's just start your day feeling good about that, right? That's right. 75% of people own a grill or smoker. That makes sense. Even the gym has one here. And kind of audience participation. The best meat to grill or smoke is what goes on that list, right? Brats, brisket. Oh, that sounds good. Invite me over. Yeah. What? Chicken? Chicken? Bill, what comes to mind? Best thing to grill or smoke? Fish. Okay. See, we're all getting hungry. That's good. All right. Anyway, I hope you guys can have a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoy that and kick it off, and hopefully we get good weather. Some questions for us as we go through things related to some suggestions. One of the suggestions I made was, what can you give up for 2 weeks to see how you feel better? Usually I pull that one out in the context when I'm doing marriage counseling and the wife's like, he drinks too much. And he's like, I don't drink bad at all. I'm like, great, give it up for 2 weeks, see how you do, and let's find out what the data means. Okay, so it's a real test. And so it's this question of like, what have you given up for 2 weeks and felt better as a result? I was curious what people would say, because I'm assuming we've all given up something that's made us feel better. But anything come to mind? Sugar, alcohol, what? Work. Work for 2 weeks, and I felt better after that vacation. Yes. Yeah. I mean, whatever is on that list, it's like people rarely regret giving up that thing for 2 weeks. And it's always this challenge at day, 15. Do I go back to it or not? Is usually an interesting kind of question. So that's a great list, and it doesn't mean that someone has had that kind of problem when you think about alcohol or substances, but generally we don't realize what the impact things are having. So caffeine's another one that gets mentioned a lot in the counseling office on how people feel better about that. Boy, I'm sleeping better. Well, no kidding, because you're not, having 18 cups of coffee in the course of a day. Just those kind of aspects. To answer my own question, I gave, if you guys remember, maybe the Packers won a Super Bowl in 2010. Who did they beat? I was at the NFC Championship game that year, and it was so brutal. I gave up social media and ESPN for 2 weeks, and I felt better. Really good. I could just ignore everything and not worry about it, and that was good. I needed that because it was not healthy for me. Second question, looking ahead, are there any goals you're looking at this summer trying to implement? That was one of the recommendations as well, to not just kind of go through life on a kind of a routine that doesn't have a purpose or focus. So as you think through Memorial Day coming and summer coming right after that, are there any goals you're thinking of trying to implement as you go into summertime? Very planned summer. Being intentional not to miss anything, you're saying? That's good. I like it. Any others? Whether they're big, small, or whatever? Yeah. Be thinking about that. It can be an opportunity to make sure, whether it's, like Katrina said, being intentional not to miss anything. We've been talking a lot about being intentional with people, right? Is there a way to make sure, even a couple months ago when I said, remember, we only have this many weekends left until fall comes. And everyone gasped, like, oh, that's not enough. So it's this recognition that you only have a handful of weekends. Even at this point, how many weekends are not scheduled already going into the rest of summer? So whatever weekends you have open, one of my suggestions to answer this question is make sure it is what you want to do, not just wide open until somebody else sends you an invite to do something they want you to come to. So be intentional about that. That'd be one goal I would suggest, to not have any regrets or be consumed by the wrong things throughout summer and go forward. So some final comments about how to pursue healthy patterns. First one was, I think healthy things need to be guarded and protected with our time and energy, right? We keep things that are important to us secure. So don't let other distractions come into play. Obviously, giving something else up, maybe if you are drinking too much either alcohol or caffeine or whatever, and you feel like your body is just all over the place, it's hard to focus on mentally or emotionally what you want to be able to do. So generally, by guarding and protecting that, applying our time and energy in the right places, we're going to feel better. That's the first one. Second, just this encouragement to say, whether it's anxiety, depression, some other type of consuming behavior, they're all fixable. Like far too often, we're going to spend next week talking about helplessness and hopelessness, because when you think about mental health, those are two big, fierce adversaries. But many times people think, I can't do this. I can't change this. I can't overcome it. So just wanted to be very clear that I think whether it is anxiety or depression, um, other types of mental health struggles, they can all be mitigated and managed and even replaced. And finally, I think this reminder, we've often said that, you've heard Bill say it, there aren't any quick fixes to things, but recognizing the foundation of self-care activities is so essential for sustainable and consistent change. The kind of all in, I'm going to do this, I'm going to give up everything, I'm going to change it, and it's 2 weeks of chaos and intensity, and you suddenly have all this change. It's not very sustainable and consistent. So it's much better just to think, well, how can I have a nice gradual entrance into that change? It's going to be much more satisfying, much more successful, allow you to pursue healthier tendencies better than kind of a radical change everything upside down. It's commendable. It's incredible what people can do when they throw everything at a problem, and it's better for 2 weeks. And then they're like, I'm so exhausted, dropping the ball on other things to make this work. So I'd rather have you start small, grow into it big, so it can be sustainable and consistent. So a good week this week to try and kind of point us in that direction of things that we can overcome, that we can feel better with. So life is centered and grounded on healthier things rather than kind of feeling adrift and vulnerable to doing things that don't have life in it and don't give us the energy we need for all of our responsibilities. So as I said, 1 week left. Helplessness and hopelessness, we'll talk about those two things and how they arise, whether they're in significant forms or even minor forms. I think with Mental Health Awareness Month, that's an important thing to cover, so people have some things to cling to. So have a good workout today, and yeah, maybe we can plan what we're going to grill or smoke on Monday. All right, thanks.